Thank you for hanging out while we fix what's going wrong in the studio. Ernie squashed the bug, we're good. So I'm buying a microwave and all new appliances.
Yeah, just to get rolling. And then from there, once we found out that your wife has been after you to get new appliances, then the next step is, well, you said that the microwave goes up between the cabinets.
Yeah.
Well, now we're having a conversation about cabinets, right? If I sent you home with just a microwave, I might have lost your marriage for you.
I hope my wife's not watching.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're on shakier ground than I know.
We just redid our sunroom.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic, honey. Thank you. It's wonderful. So that's enough for today.
Okay. So to drive the point home is, sometimes when you're talking to folks about, let's just say, car audio.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just glean that from our surroundings.
Sure.
You don't know, are they reliving their youth, right? Is it that they could never afford it and now they can, and they really want to treat them to something nice? Is it a stress reliever? Those are the things you have to find out because, for example, bass, right? A lot of folks say, they come in, they're like, oh man, I'm in my 40s. I don't need all that bass.
Yes.
What that's code for is take out my back seat and put 415s. Right? They're trying to talk themselves off the ledge. So it's picking up on those things because someone wouldn't say that unless they wanted a lot of bass. Right? So picking up on that, it gives you the ability to say, hey, we've got these new big motor structural woofers we can put in tiny airspace. You can pack them with a ton of power. It's going to shake the whole vehicle. You can have the bass, you can keep your space. Let's talk about the dirty parts, the money, right? Yeah. Or if they're like, look, that all sounds great, but I don't have that kind of dough. Can you give up the space? Bass, space, money. It's a sliding scale, right?
That's good.
So taking the time to have that conversation, because again, you have people come in like, oh man, I don't need all that. Correct.
Yeah.
You don't need anything I do. So let's talk about what you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what are the must-haves, and then go from there, right? Because, once you get the heart fully invested, the logic will figure out how to pay for it.
Yeah.
And it's that way with everything you do, right?
Yeah.
For me, I can be actually pretty hard to sell. We were talking about this at lunch and then dinner.
Yes.
Man, having a great sales experience, you just come out of it like, man, that guy got me past the budget, right? And you always hear this term, and it's the dirty word. You're never supposed to ask about budget. Well, I do all the time, right? Because when you as a consumer tell me what the budget is, you're not lying to me. You're lying to you, right? Those are your guardrails that you're trying to set up, right? And while I respect it, if that isn't enough to get you where you need to go, I'm going to explain why. I'm going to tell you how to break it apart into sections so that you can plan to come back and make multiple trips. But if you are selling, you have a responsibility to try and protect people from as much redundant spending as possible, right? So it doesn't become, when they go to look back on it, they're like, oh man, I blew an extra $500, $600. $500, $600 is very real money to a lot of people, right?
For sure.
So being able to have that conversation, being able to put yourself in those shoes really helps you have a connection with your client, with your potential client, right? Because you still have to earn that business.
Right.
And then you'd be surprised on how quickly, they're ready to come back. They're going to bring their family. They're going to tell their friends. They're going to tell their boss and all that. And I think that's what a lot of us are missing post-COVID, right?
Post-COVID, what do you mean by that?
So during COVID, when there was product shortages everywhere, except for you guys were the only ones that managed to have product,
we had a
right?
lot, yes.
So, but you walked into anything. You wanted to go buy a car. You wanted to go buy a TV. You wanted to go buy you had no choices. It was like Lord of the Flies, right?
Yes.
And all you had to do was be like, I've got this. And someone who's been cooped up in their house and has $1,200 in their pocket, they're like, I'm buying it. I don't even know what it is, but I want it.
Yeah.
And that carried on for the better part of 2 years. And I think a lot of customer service salespeople got really comfortable just knowing that you were going to come in, shovel a bunch of stuff in front of them and say, take my money.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got product. we're having a little bit of a weirdness right now with some supply chain stuff and tariffs.
Right.
Which I have a thought on that, but now is the time where you can remind your customer base that you are the reason why they didn't do it from home, why they came to you. What are the things I need to maximize this purchase?
Yeah.
What don't I know because I don't do this every day, right? Even your best do-it-yourselfer client needs some guidance. So invite these people back into the store and show them the world, right? You have a responsibility to show them the world, because if you don't and they get the thing and then they go talk to their friend who had a better retail experience, they're like, wow, they didn't even talk to me about that. I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yeah.
Now, is that person going to come back to you? No. They might even think that you, A, counted their money for them and figured that you didn't think much of them because you didn't think they had enough money, right? Or B, you didn't have the expertise.
Yeah.
So underserving your clients is the quickest way to finding yourself being like, the internet's just kicking my butt.
Yeah.
People aren't buying, consumer confidence is low. I mean, I don't know. In an industry where, according to one of our biggest point of sale systems, the average invoice in our business is sub $200.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was at an average of $3,900 and change, right?
So $4,000 average.
Average ticket versus the average ticket according to one of the point of sale systems that would aggregate the information for their magazine said it was sub $200.
Yeah.
I said this in a training, and a retailer said 15 years ago when I worked for a multi-store chain, our average ticket was $197. So that backs it all up. So why is it? Well, you could say, well, how do I do that?
Yeah.
How do I maximize the sale and have larger averages and more repeat business, right? It is qualifying questions.
Yeah.
What do you intend to do with my daughter, right? What do you intend to do with my subwoofer here, right? How many of these do you need? What are the physical limitations? What are the time constraints? Remove all the friction, right? And when you talk about possibility, you normalize things by taking people through your establishment. Think of a jewelry store, right? You go into a jewelry store and you're like, I had a really great year. I'm going to buy myself a $1,000 watch. You're doing well, but you're like, I don't know, is that extravagant? If the guy shows you a $10,000 watch and he's like, I can't keep enough of these in stock, he just normalized the fact that folks are spending real money. So does that mean that you, who feel some kind of way about maybe some extracurricular spending, are going to jump up to $10,000? No. But what you will do is buy that $1,000 watch, or maybe jump up to the $1,200 or $1,300 watch, and while you're at it, be like, you know what? So-and-so's birthday's coming up. Can you show me one of these things? There's a time to normalize, there's a time to sensationalize, and there's even a time to trivialize, right? This is a bit edgy, but
I like this.
Sometimes, as a salesperson, a person has walked into your establishment and they've given you the right to use their ego, right?
Okay.
So, and I say this at trainings, and I'll say this here, right, to the billions watching all over the world, okay? If someone comes in and they're wearing sparkly pocketed jeans, and they've got an Ed Hardy shirt on over their Affliction shirt, and you can smell all three of the colognes they've put on that day, they want to see your best of the best of the best. They want bragging rights. And if you don't show them the bragging rights, do you think they're going to come back next time? No, they're going to walk out into the parking lot, they're going to get into their H2, and they're going to drive away, right? Now, if that sounds like you, I nailed it, didn't I? Right? But truth be told, you want to buy the best of the best of the best with honors. And a lot of retailers don't take the time to put down their wallet to think about how they can help you maximize your purchase.
Dan, tell us about an experience you've had in your retail life where a customer comes in and looks like the customer who's not going to buy anything ever, and most salespeople just go, oh God, I got to go do something else. Tell us about a time that happened to you.
Yeah. So now client turned dear friend.
Okay.
Okay. So I had a guy come in. I put him in his like 50s. He's got a big long chin beard. He's covered in tattoos, you know, brings his wife with him, and she's covered in tattoos. They're the nicest people, right? But at face value, you don't think they're going to spend what they might.
Uh-huh.
And they kind of did like one of those warning shots. They let me do an audio system in their son's pre-owned BMW.
Okay.
Okay? And my business partners at the time were like, this isn't going to go anywhere. Like, look at them. They're not going to spend this. It was a $5,500 audio system.
That's not nothing.
Right. And a pre-owned BMW. The car sounded great. We did some custom touches. Loved it. And my business partners are, that's your one. I don't know how you did that, but okay.
Nice.
Year and a half later, I'll make up some names, right? Just for the...
Sure.
So I'll call him Kevin. I'll call her Beth, right? Made up names. So Kevin and Beth show up with his Yukon, and they're like, it's Kevin's birthday coming up. We want to talk about doing some stuff in his truck. So I start with a legal pad, talking about all the things I'd like to do. You've ever had built-in radar detector? Audio, video, sound deadening, wheels, tires, right? 2 pages. And I'm just doing this as an exercise.
Yeah.
Okay? Full complete audio system, sound deadening, bass, performance, windows up and down with their alarm.
Oh yeah, sure.
Hater vision, extra rear seat entertainment. I'm just showing them the moon. I'm like, what part do you think you want to do? They're like, all of it. Excuse me? All of it. What do you need to get going? So I tell him, and he reaches in his pocket, not for a credit card, but for a checkbook.
Checkbook.
Right?
Yeah.
And he writes me a big fat deposit, and we go ahead and do the job, and the job is awesome, okay? To give you an idea, when this job happened, you could have bought another Yukon Denali XL for that kind of money. They come in the following year. It's Beth's birthday. Again, that's a made-up name. Her little Audi coupe, full audio, full radar, BBS wheels, custom exhaust, and chrome delete.
Wow.
So you're talking across 3 cars over the course of just a few years. You're talking nearly $100,000 in business. Now, if I showed you a picture of them, you'd be like, there's no way. But why, right? You look at Rick Rubin, right?
Yeah.
The music producer, right? Who's probably been kicked out of more stadiums because they think he's a vagrant, right? On the flip side, I've had people come in extraordinarily expensive suits, driving very expensive Italian cars, and $500 is too much money. So you can never reach into somebody's back pocket and count their money because you just don't know what it's worth to them.
Yeah.
Right? You've been all over the world, right? Far East Asia. They'll spend years of salary on their audio systems.
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
Yes.
You talk about in like Malaysia and Indonesia, these are things that the U.S. market, we don't even consider.
Right.
They'll spend an entire like 2-3 years on their sound system because it's so important.
So my wife's from Indonesia, and we went to Indonesia for a wedding in May, and it was, I shared with the audience, it was a crazy rich Asian wedding.
Yeah.
There is no way that I could afford that wedding, and I would have to sell my house to afford the reception.
Right.
It's like, you're so right, it's unbelievable what they will invest in their wedding.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So when you, as a person who's engaged in the art of selling car audio, as noble as that is, if you take a look at a global view, you're all of a sudden, like, hold on. If someone's truly passionate about something, they'll spend far beyond what you might even spend in that industry, right? So my wallet never comes into it. The very first thing you need to do is get your wallet out of it.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I want to throw a good one at you. You ready to go, Dan?
I'm ready.
Yeah, here's a question.
Here we go. Boom.
Jason, don't be offended, but I don't like salespeople.
Yeah.
So many of them don't listen and just try to upsell you on everything. I just walk away. Maybe you can change my mind.
Yeah.
This is great.
I don't like them either.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Guys,
My wife, her skin crawls when a salesperson comes up to me because all I want is a good sales experience.
Yes.
So what I would offer up is, unfortunately, it doesn't sound like you've had a good sales experience or you're just so well researched that you think you know exactly what you want, But if you were to step back, take a beat, and listen to what that salesperson has to say, because they do it for a living, they might be missing, that you might be missing something very obvious where your initial investment could be far greater in enjoyment if you just listen to what they have to say, right? Just like the guy at the sneaker store when he tries to sell you socks, he's trying to save your sneakers from stinking, right? He's trying to save you from yourself. So sometimes, you know, it just makes sense. And I get it, right? We're in a world where we're pre-programmed to not trust anybody.
Yes.
Right? We are pre-programmed to do our own research. We are pre-programmed now to be anxious about everything. So what I would suggest, if you're going anywhere to buy something or you're going anywhere to experience a product or a service, give the person on the other side of the counter just a few moments to really collect themselves and show you beyond. Ask, what are the things that are adjacent? What are the things that are complementary to the thing that I'm looking for? Look, you go buy a smartphone now.
Yeah.
It comes with a USB cord, does not come with a charging brick.
Correct.
Right? So would you consider a guy sending you home with no charging brick, just selling you the phone? Do you think he did a good job? Because what if you bought that phone because your phone just died and you're going to go get on a plane?
Yeah.
And you're going to be gone for a business trip.
Yeah.
You ever travel for business?
Absolutely.
And you find you've got either you don't have a charger or you don't have a cord? That's life-shattering.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right? That is absolutely life-shattering. So take time to find out what are the things I should be considering, right? Sometimes you'll hear these little nuggets of like, hey, this is a great product, but boy, you really want to protect it with the extended warranty. Well, what do you mean?
Yeah. Huh?
Right?
Huh?
It's like the whole idea, there's only two types of computers, right? Obsolete ones and ones that haven't been built yet, right?
Yeah.
You should get a service plan on that thing, right? And I'm speaking to myself because I don't get service plans on anything, but you know, some people say that's an attachment and he's just trying to upsell me. Other people, 67% of people buy trip insurance. Did you know that?
I did
67% of people buy trip insurance for their flights. I've never bought it once.
Never.
I don't even know how much it is.
What does it cover?
Yeah.
Why do I need it?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I am probably one of the worst consumers, and I'd
Yeah.
like to think I'm a pretty well accomplished salesperson. I mean, I sold my way onto this show.
You're a very likable guy.
I
Ernie,
try.
give us another question. Sean Lynn, good evening. Good evening. I prefer the salesman who helps spec to build to suit the build the best.
Yes.
Spacing the proper build instead of doing some overkill. Yes.
I agree with you 100%. Let's talk about going fast,
Yeah,
right?
let's do that.
If we're talking about you're building a car to go fast, if you got plenty of go, you need plenty of whoa, right? The amount of times I've gotten to a car that 600-700 horsepower and still had factory brakes, that's a prime example of not doing the supporting mods for those of you that have a stack of massive subwoofer amplifiers and you haven't discussed what you're going to do for charging, for your battery bank, how you're going to condition these batteries at night. Someone has done you a disservice.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Good point. Ernie, another question or statement. Roger, good evening, Roger.
Hey, Roger.
How and when do you typically bring up budget to the client during your sales process?
It varies from person to person. You know, you're always told that you shouldn't ask. But so if you preface it by saying, this is what I'm not supposed to ask you. Do you have an idea of what you want to spend? Because this is what I want to do. You give me an idea. We're going to go look at your car. I'm going to jot down the things I'd like to see you have. And then we're going to see where it falls in comparison to your budget. Right? I think that allows you, because the budget, again, it is a made-up number, right? Nobody needs anything we do.
Right.
So if you can make it compelling enough, they'll find the way to pay for it. Financing's cheap, right?
Oh,
This is the U.S. You can have anything you want. You just can't own it. Just finance it.
Just finance.
That is not financial advice, okay, by Kicker or anybody else in this room. But in any case, I do ask budget often. And sometimes what you can do is if you had somebody that was referred by somebody else, you can always ask who referred you, right? Because then you can just be looking to see, oh, all right, Tom's got a car just like yours. Are you wanting to do what Tom spent? And they're like, oh no, I don't have Tom's money. Whenever someone says they don't have that person's money, they usually have twice as much.
Really?
Yeah, every time, right? Yeah, everyone, hey, there's more people making more money these days than ever. Right?
True.
And what I'm seeing is there's more people that feel some kind of way that they're doing really well for themselves. This is a judgment-free zone. I love every single one of those dollars you earned for yourself, and I'd like to see you treat yourself, right? So when it comes time to ask the budget, you just have to make it feel and be genuine that you're not counting that money, right? You're not reaching into their wallet and seeing what all their bills are and all that, you know? So when you come up to a number, and maybe it's a little bit elevated, but for good reason, and then they stop and say, do I really need this? Is it worth it? You know, you can't really answer that for them, but what you can do is put it into perspective, right? So you can say things like, if it doesn't change how many times you can go to Starbucks this week, it's kind of worth it. If it doesn't change how many times you can take your significant other out to dinner this month, it's sort of worth it. You know, I think this dollar figure is going to make you the happiest. What I might suggest you do is pump the brakes. Wait a few weeks, wait a couple pay periods, and then come back and do it right. Because there'll be more money to redo part of it. And so you're advocating for your client. Right? And when they push back because they want to do business today, they've been waiting, they want to do business today, I've always said, look, here's the deal. You've never ever seen a spider flick the fly out of the web. It's not the spider's job, right? Here I am. I'm trying to protect you from spending out of order. Come back when you're ready to do it the way you want to, because no one ever stopped me from doing that. When I came up in car audio, I had a car that had no less than 10 different radios in it, right? I was a $1,000 radio guy waiting to happen. So I had the distinct pleasure of spending about $4,000 to get to that $1,000 radio. So protect your clients against redundant spending. You know, also another thing that we hear a lot is someone will come in and have an unrealistic budget, right? If someone comes in, they have an unrealistic budget and they're like, hey, I want to do a full audio system. I need CarPlay, I need a backup camera, I need speakers, I need an amp, I need a sub. Break it into two things. Like, hey, for 1 second, can we just consider that your connectivity and technology upgrade has little to do with your sound? So let me show you what it'll cost for a radio, the installation parts, and the camera, and you can see that that is this pile of money. Right? Now, let's just shelf that for a minute, because I can do an audio system with your OEM source unit. Let me show you how to make great sound, and then you can rattle it off, and you see how it's this bundle of money? Which one's more important? Right? Which one's more important to you? You said you've got a $3,500 budget, a head unit and a camera with all the install parts, premium stuff, name brand stuff, right? Is going to chew up $1,800. Well, that doesn't leave a whole lot to do an audio system now, does it? So once you put it in, because the consumer doesn't realize.
They just don't know.
So once you frame it in, hey, connectivity, technology, and safety, the fun stuff. Which one do you want to do first? A lot of times, I'm like, oh, I had no idea. I just didn't know what I didn't know. So if you take into consideration that your clients coming in don't know what they don't know, they don't want to look dumb in your eyes as the quote-unquote expert, if you just take away that pain, ease their mind, you can walk them through and then help them make the most informed decision. Because if it's for a young driver, technology and safety is probably paramount. Right? I don't want Junior talking on his phone. I don't want my little princess to reach into her purse and pull her phone out. Great. This is how we do that. We go for the wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, right? Dad, who probably back in the 90s had an audio system, he's just like, well, I get it, but subs are so much more fun.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you say, okay, well, we know that we want technology, connectivity, safety. Let's take the audio package we just talked about, and let's talk about how we break that into a thing. Maybe we can do the radio and all that and a subwoofer.
Yes.
And then providing your Offspring keeps our grades up, performance for performance, you can come back and do the speakers and the amplifier, because we're always here. We're here when you get bored.
Yep.
We're here when you need some retail therapy. We're here when you've fallen out of love with your vehicle, right? We're always going to be here for you. So.
Oh, that's great. Let's take another question.
Okay, here we go. This is off a different subject.
Okay, another subject. Kicker Car, good evening. When is the Solo 8 going to be shipping or back in stock? I didn't know it was out of stock, so I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. But, Ernie, can you make me a note to check on that so we can update our friends out there? This is the 10 in front of us, by the way, and we're going to show you how to put grills on the Solo X10. Ernie, we got time for one more question. Let's do that. Michael Voss, good evening, Michael. I got Kicker CX1201 in CVRs. Would I be able to put another amp running 6 car speakers, or would I need another battery? Okay, so you've got a 1201 on CVRs. You want to add another amplifier to run probably components in the front and rear fill, I'm guessing. Do I need another battery? Well, we need to know what vehicle you have and what kind of charging system you currently have. If he's got a 3500 diesel pickup, he probably has enough current capacity to power that system.
Yeah, I would say with most modern cars today, the charging systems have become so robust, and amplifiers have gotten to be so much more efficient. Think about it. These days, you don't see lights dimming as much at this stoplight. So, yeah, if you've got an older vehicle, or you have like a 2000s Honda, you know, because they were always known for, if the car needs 46 amps of current, it's getting a 50 amp alternator. You have 4 amps to play with. Don't charge a modern phone. But I would say, by and large, most of the vehicles these days, until you get into really, really big power, and I'm not saying that that's not big power, when you get into really big power, that's when you have to start thinking about your charging system. You need to consider what's actually charging, what is your battery bank. You know, also keep in mind, if you're adding a battery, you want to make sure that it's not dissimilar chemical makeups, not dissimilar in your capacity, because then you have batteries that are just beating up each other, trying to say who's top dog. So unless you isolate them, DC to DC charging, I mean, that's a whole nother deal. So I'm a big fan of give it a whirl, and then you've painted yourself into a corner, and we'll see you when you come back if you need it.
Yeah, good, good. All right, let's take one more. A couple more. Okay, Ernie, thank you. What are your thoughts on the new sodium battery with a stock alternator running 3,500 watt system? Sodium.
Yeah, so I just literally sat in a vehicle that had a sodium battery, and the gentleman that had put the, you know, because it's like you buy the cells and you put it together and you put a charge controller. I don't know if anybody is making a commercially available thing. And I'm reading his voltage, and I'm like, is this car running at 15 something volts? He's like, it is. He's like, every now and again, the factory electronics get a little upset. But from what I understand, and again, this is not battery advice from Kicker or myself, they say sodium's safer than some of the other lithium variants. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a lot of effort. It looks cool. I mean, battery technology is wild, and I know that you guys don't get directly into the battery stuff.
No.
So let me ask you, is it sodium? Do you like salt or pepper batteries?
Oh, I like pepper.
Okay.
I'm a spicy kind of guy.
Spicy kind of guy. Unfortunately, the internet will have to be your North Star on this one.
Contact our friends at Excess Power. They can help you for sure.
Absolutely. They make some fantastic products.
They do. We use them in all of our builds. Corey, good evening, Corey. Are there any options for a clip indicator on the 1801? So we, Kicker, we do not offer a separate clip indicator. Dan, what's your experience with that? And you have ever seen any or worked with any?
No. All right. I'm a big fan of selling a lot of power and never having to tax the amplifier. So it's never, like 20 something years in this business, and it has never really been a concern. I just find that when I've got more power for more drivers, I'm never pushing anything to the ragged edge. I've got more cooling capacity, more things that can deal with the heat, and I'm just less likely. Otherwise, you know, you say, okay, you can't allow an amp to clip on mids and highs, but you kind of need to let it eat a little on sub. You know, let's face it, the way we listen to bass, we need a little oomph, right? So I would say best thing to do is buy testing equipment that allow you to really know, are you clipping? Are you soft clipping? Are you hard clipping? Are you doing straight square wave and you're smoking everything? Tool up, get yourself an oscilloscope. There's industry guys that make some really high quality products for really reasonable pricing to make sure that you're protecting your investment.
Yeah, good, thank you. Next question, what do we got? Austin, good evening, Austin. How important is it to have top tier equipment in the store to show customers?
Okay, so Austin is one of the guys you want to watch in this industry. Trimmer by trade, car audio, super nerd. And so I do think that is very important to have some top tier gear in your showroom, right? Because it allows you to normalize some of the meat and potatoes product, right? If you show folks $2,200 speakers, and yes, that stuff exists, you're going to sell more $1,000 speakers.
Yeah.
And it does give you the ability to, out of the blue, if a conversation between you and a client is maybe veering off task or you're not being able to get your point across and you just need to reset, one of my favorite things to say is stop and be like, you want to see something horrendously expensive? Right?
Yes, I do.
And you disappear into the stockroom and you come back with the most expensive thing you've got. It doesn't even have to be, if you're talking about speakers, it can be an amp. If you're talking about an amp, it can be the most expensive RCAs you've got.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hand that to somebody, because then it's just like, I had no clue that you could spend $400 on an RCA, right? And home people are like, hold my beer. What, $400 a meter, right? It's
my power cable is $400.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Austin Moore. Thank you for watching, by the way. But yes, I think that you need to have some pretty wild stuff to show off because you don't know, right?
Yeah.
What's the most expensive subwoofer you sell?
Well, Solo X18.
You sell them because people buy them, right? So you never know if that person's on the other side of the counter. So if you go lumping up a Solo X18, right, you and three of your coworkers, there's going to be someone, the law of averages says someone's going to be like, yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah.
I have two of those.
I need that.
Right now.
Yeah, that's
now.
right.
So, yeah, thank you. I like that question.
Good question. Next question.
I don't like top-down sales.
Chris, what would you consider top-tier equipment? That's a great question.
Well, that's a great question. Well, if I was, do I just speak freely? Do I talk about some brands?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, there's a lot of us that are car audio tragics that believe that we have to go to various European countries to get best of the best of the best with honors. So you have your Italian products, you have your German products, you have your Danish products, and they're all fantastic, right? So when I say top tier, I want to have something on hand that is like cutting edge technology, right? With great user support. You'll see how I haven't mentioned anybody on here.
Yeah.
But you want something that looks like jewelry, sounds like angels, and you can just beat it up. So a jewelry-laden tough angel is what you want.
I have to say a side note here. So Joe Hobart is he manages all the electrical engineers here.
Yep.
And so we do a lot of stuff with the AP machine. And so we'll do some AP stuff on air with our audience. And one of the things that he'll also do is we'll buy competitive products and we'll test it. There's some great stuff out there, and there's some stuff that's really expensive that's not very good, which is kind of shocking.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any brands, but he'll run some really expensive stuff through the AP and go, this can't be right. He'll buy another one just to make sure, right? This is not that good.
Yeah.
For CX kicker money, a couple $100, you're getting a better product.
Right.
And it's really shocking. And some of it is strictly great marketing.
Yeah. Hey, Ernie, can we go to the top-down selling for the win? There was a comment there. We don't even need to have it up. There it is, top-down selling for the win. So I am the biggest detractor of top-down selling. And I'll tell you why. Oftentimes when I see top-down selling in a retailer, they're not truly talking about top-down. Right? What they're talking about is their top.
Okay.
So what has happened is you're creating a glass ceiling. So for a moment, just so I can feel more comfortable, I'm going to switch to wheels and tires. Okay? Brixton Forged is a highly regarded and expensive company. HRE is an expensive, AL13, right? Forged faces, carbon barrels, you're talking about a $24,000 set of wheels.
Wow.
Okay? So if you're in a wheel and tire world and you do top-down selling, you're going to do nothing but chase people out of the store. If you come in with your wife's car and you're like, hey, I bent a wheel, I need new wheels and tires, and because top-down selling, I show you a $26,000 wheel and tire package, am I going to land that sale? No. So what's going to happen is I'm not going to talk about it anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then we'll just keep going down because you're always on your back foot with top-down, I feel. Okay? Now, there's plenty of people that have had great careers top-down, right?
Yeah.
I'll go invoice to invoice with them, but what I think is it's just you're either saying that you or your staff, unfortunately, does not have the ability to properly qualify a client and show them the world. So I've been doing my very best to not mention any brands on here, but all right, so F#1 status, right? That package.
Yeah,
It's
Alpine.
a $35,000 pile of parts. If you're an Alpine dealer, are you showing every single person F#1 status?
Yeah.
No, you're not, right? If you're one of the Italian manufacturers, are you showing the $19,000 amplifier 2-channel to every customer? You're not, right? So, and if you look at folks that are in a remote start region, where remote starts make or break your sales every year, right? Someone calls or someone's in the store and you start them with a $1,300 remote start with all the bells and whistles, they're going to say no. Right, because they're there to buy a present for their uncle.
Yeah.
Right, they want that $299.
Right.
And don't lie, you have it in your store that time of year. So you're on the back foot. You go 1,300 is my best. Oh, okay. How about 800, 500? Do I get the sale for 200? Right, and that's what I see. So the top down, you're either setting a glass ceiling for yourself, and you'll never get to those halo pieces. And again, manufacturers make them because they intend for people to buy them, right?
We do, yeah.
So when you guys, Q class, right?
Yeah.
I had Q class on display. That was your top of the food chain,
Yeah.
right? Had it on display, sold it, right? Would have never ever. You couldn't go to the guy who's a yellow box. Do we use those terms
Yeah,
anymore?
yeah, yellow.
Like a yellow box kicker customer was never going to understand blue box.
Right.
So if you led with blue box, you're like, man, kicker's changed.
Yeah.
And he'd want to talk about something else.
Yeah.
So I look at attachments and upsells. If you show interest in this, then I'm going to show you that, and then zigzag up the ladder till you get to the. That's how you sell, in my opinion, the very top more often.
There's a lot of folks in our industry that need to hear what you have to say, because a lot of us were taught many, many years ago, and we haven't updated our skill set over the years. And you've been honing your skill set over the years.
Constantly.
And so there are ways to address challenges today that didn't even exist when I was originally learning.
Yeah.
So
Get into this a little farther here. This is Scott, he's a good guy, but here's this. Let's tell the other side of this that you have to say.
okay. Scott Williams, good evening, Scott. If you show them $100 speakers first, it's going to be hard to move up. But once you evaluate them and assume the budget, that's the starting point, and work down from there.
Okay, so once you evaluate and assume the budget, yeah. Well, what if you don't assume the budget? What if you, instead of talking money, you go to application? So for me, one of the ways I've always separated myself in a market is I've always been the guy who's taken the time to put the larger, more robust mid-bass in a door, right? So if everybody else is doing a 6 in a door, if I can fit an 8, I'm putting an 8. Or if it has to be 2 6s, I'm putting 2 6s, right? So yes, it's a good idea to understand that they want more than the $100 speaker, and if you take their budget and work backwards, I say you start adding the value proposition of what it is that you do in your store that separates you from the rest of the pack, because then it's not just the product, right?
Yeah.
Because if you talk about the way I'm going to do sound prep, sound deadening in the door, the way I'm going to build the mid-bass adapters, and all of that sort of stuff, that's where you start to kind of build up the budget, right? You know, it's, you know, there's an industry guy that talked about $350 mid-base mounts.
Wow.
That's how they do it in the Pacific Northwest, okay, at this one store. And I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. So I took the time after training, and I explained to a client, like, hey, if we take the speaker and we move it out and we couple it to the door, there's all that energy that's not getting lost within the space between the door and the door panel, and you're getting the most for your money. And the guy goes, no one's ever told me that. Absolutely, I want that. He's like, yeah, I get it's a little bit more money. So again, we've got folks that are interested in what we do. That's why they come to us. So you have all the opportunity in the world to walk them up through the thing. I often wondered, should you offer such a thing as a white glove installation? Sort of if you're not one of those that does the zip tie every 2 inches and you don't make sure that all the screws are the same way. What if you were to offer that, right? And you even wore a hat that said Dean on it or Nando. I don't know. But if you were to offer that, saying, hey, the reason why there is a difference for this experience is because it takes twice as long. You know, is that worth it to you? This way is fully secure. It meets best practices. You know, everything's going to be set up, maximize your budget. But if you're thinking, man, I wish I could find a way to spend more money, well, let's talk about how we can take it to the next level, you know?
This is actually an interesting point, Dan, that door prep is rarely talked about in the circles that I travel. And a properly prepped door with an average speaker will blow your mind.
Absolutely.
With the door prep. Give us a 2-minute, what's door prep?
Please. So what we're talking about is sound deadening, right? We're talking about adding mass to a door, turning the door into an enclosure, reducing vibration, right? So, and the thing is, a lot of folks are doing it, they're at least applying some material, but they're perhaps doing it wrong, right? So if you'll indulge me for a second, if you look at home theater speakers, I actually saw a pair in your R&D department. The ScanSpeak Revelator. It's a 6.5-inch speaker, and it's got the little, like,
the cuts in it.
The cuts in it, right? And then the Vifa tweeter. At one point, you could find those two speakers in a pair of $5,000 home theater speakers or a pair of $50,000. What's the difference? Cabinet.
The cabinet,
right? So now, if you treat a door as making it into a cabinet, you can make the speaker perform better. You're getting rid of unwanted vibration. You're getting away movement that eats up energy, and you're keeping the outside world out, right? All things being equal, I've made it clear I like selling expensive product, but expensive product without sound deadening, you might as well not, right? I would rather sell you a pair of $300, $350 speakers. I understand in some worlds that's crazy expensive. I'd rather sell you that with a bunch of deadening than the Halo speakers with none. Because I'm doing you a disservice. Right? I love sound deadening, and as a retailer, you should too, right? It makes the car a better place to be every single time. It never needs a firmware update, right?
So true.
And you never have to remind somebody how to use it, right? Twice a year, you don't have to go ahead and tell them how to set their clock on their sound deadening.
It doesn't need batteries.
It doesn't need batteries, right?
Yes. Okay. So Ernie's hollering at us from back there, and when Dan found out we don't have earpieces to hear Ernie, he asked, well, how are we going to hear Ernie? We just heard Ernie.
I heard Ernie.
What Ernie is saying is that if you guys and girls really enjoy this conversation, this content, this topic, this type of show, let us know in the chat, and we can do some follow-up. I know Dan would love to do this again, whether it's here or remotely. We can always do remote too. Yeah, well, we'd love to have you back. We got more places to eat too.
That's right.
But if you guys like this, let us know, and we'll do more of this kind of show, because personally, I love it. I love car audio, but I also love the stuff around car audio, like a great salesman. So yes, we do need to move on with some other stuff. Thanks, Ernie. We got really deep here, and it was wonderful. And Dan, if you're comfortable, I'm just going to have you stay here while I do the rest of the show. Is that cool?
Oh, you'd have to drag me out of here.
Okay. All right. So let's see what's next on the agenda here. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. So grill spacer. So in the last probably 30 days or so, our R&D department decided to put up on our website help me out here, 3D print file. 3D print files to print spacers for the Solo X woofers so you can put our grill on it. And let me get that for you real quick. I'll keep talking so you know I haven't gone home. Right here. So on our website, you can find the file to print these spacers. John, excuse me. So the way this works is, I gotta walk this over here. So the spacer, you put in 4 screws to hold the woofer in place. Then you put the spacer on here, and it's got a little a recessed area for the bolt you've already put in. You put these in the place, in the position. Actually, I'm gonna have to tip this up, aren't I?
Yeah.
I don't know, Ernie, can the folks that can kind of see it? Okay.
And you can see why.
Yeah, because the huge surround on there. So that clicks into place here. And I was told to give you a small education on the product. Do not use PLA. I don't know what that stands for, but PLA apparently is the inexpensive stuff. And in direct sunlight, it'll actually melt. And so that's bad, of course. So what you want to use is a filament with fiber reinforcement, PLA plus carbon fiber, or ABS plus fiberglass. And that is the filament material that'll handle the pressure, the heat, and longevity. So you put those in place, then this ring goes in position. It snaps in, then you bolt in, put your other bolts in there, extra long bolts, of course, and then this snaps in on top of it. This is the steel mesh grill, and voila, now you have a Solo X subwoofer with a protective grill, and the subwoofer will not bounce off the grill. So that is available on our website, free files, print out your own. And Dan, you had an upgrade idea too. What was your idea?
Well, I thought a sporty guy would print off one of these and then transfer it to acrylic using a router, and then find a way to edge light this, right? So watch your fingers. This is not health suggestions by Kicker or myself, but yeah, whittle these up out of acrylic, find a way to load an LED into it, and then have these 4 little edge lit. That would be killer.
Super sexy. So that's available on our website. If you go to the accessory section and you click on the subwoofer grills and you drill down, you'll find the correct ones for your subwoofer. Also, the Comp Q series 10, 12, and 15, we also have those available. So that's how you can put grills on these Super Excursion woofers. Okay, next up we have a couple of tech questions. And if you'd like to, Dan, I'd like you to talk about this too.
Yeah.
The first question is, I have 2 pair of KMTC11. That is our large 11-inch diameter tower system for marine applications. What amplifier do you recommend to power 4 of those to RMS power? So these speakers are designed for 300 watts RMS each. So if you're good at math, 3 times 4, 1200 watts RMS. So the perfect amp, which we specifically designed to go with those systems, is the KXMA 1200.2. At 4 ohms, it's going to do 300 by 2. At 2 ohms, it's going to do 600 by 2. So that's the perfect amplifier. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think to myself, in a marine environment, how do I use 2 amplifiers?
Okay.
Right? Because this way you have twice the amount of heatsink dissipating heat.
True.
You have twice the amount of power supply dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I just find that it's just more robust, because these marine guys beat they beat every bit of dollars out of whatever they buy, right?
All day.
All day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I just think about, if you have enough battery bank to do it, And if you can swing the second amplifier, it's never a bad idea to have more thermal dissipation, more control, because you're less likely to push something to a ragged edge, have it clip, right?
Yeah.
And end up smoking some speakers.
Yeah.
So
excellent point.
more amps, more fun.
So 2 1200.2s.
There you go.
That's why he makes more money than me. Okay, so the second question we have is, I'm debating between the KMC5 and the KMC4. These are our marine head units. The KMC5 is the premium, KMC4 is the next step right down. What can you tell me would be the main differences? There's quite a few differences actually. First of all, NEMA 2000 compliance. The KMC5 works with NEMA 2000. What is that? So if you've got the kind of boat that has that beautiful giant touchscreen that controls all of your trim motors and your trolling motors and your FM and your wave radio, all that stuff is controlled right there, that MDF. You are going to want the KMC5 because it talks to that. When it's all plugged in correctly, it's going to show up as part of your display so you can control your audio from that beautiful display. The KMC4 doesn't have that option, so that's the number one. Number two, the KMC5 has Sirius XM capability. So if you want to have Sirius XM on the water, you need the KMC5. In addition, the KMC5 has a 6-channel onboard amplifier. It's Class D. So it's a real 25 times 6 RMS into 4 ohm load. And it is a substantial amount of power in a head unit. Now, if you're going with all offboard amplifiers, which is what we always suggest, that doesn't really matter. But if you're starting with a budget system and you need as much power as possible without amplifiers, that's the way to go. In addition, it has a video input. So if you've got a galley camera or you're using a camera to help dock the boat properly, you can see it right on the radio.
Or you want to watch someone surfing behind you.
That too, yeah.
Right.
Surfing, sure.
So, you mentioned that has multiple outputs, right? So imagine this, a lot of folks, they go out, they find the cove, they throw out their lily pads and they're floating.
Yes.
And they want to float all day.
Yes.
So imagine if you're able to kick off your main audio system, but you're using internal power for 2 transom-mounted coaxes that are right at water level.
Yeah.
Right? They can be a respectable volume, okay? All of you. And it just allows you to extend your runtime without beating up your gear, and you have the ability, because of the, presumably multiply zone, you can really just dial it in so it's just that.
Yeah.
Same thing, if the boat you have has a below deck, it has like a little cabin and all that.
Right.
Same deal. You're not going to put some big massive speakers, big massive power under there, so you can take an additional 25x2 of Class D power and put a set of speakers below deck.
Right.
So that's how you can maximize your system. You got the big power, you can kill that and still have modest power if you're going to do some like on the water camping or some lily pad floating, being respectful of your neighbors.
Yes, please.
And that's something that I love. I love a set of transom mounted speakers.
Yeah.
Get out the whole saw and just right in that $200,000 boat.
God, I love this guy. Okay, great Q&A. Time for fail picks. This is always a fan favorite. Let's talk about fail picks. Give me just a second, Ernie. Got to get this page open here. Okay, here comes the fail picks. Number 1. So this is a nice amplifier that has been installed by
someone
less than a professional.
Hopefully.
So obviously the ground wire is now red.
Yeah.
And well, the grounding is suspicious.
Yeah, somewhat.
It might work, but then again, it probably won't.
You know what? Somewhere someone's like, well, you can't mount an amp upside down. Right? You remember that? You can't mount an amp upside down. Yeah. The heat sink is designed to work. Well, okay, simmer down.
I did forget about that.
Yeah.
Somebody's, yeah, that could be too. There's probably a fuel line underneath there too somewhere, right? Here we go. So we think this is a magnet-to-magnet isobaric setup. Is that what we decided?
Hey, you're either traveling time or I don't know.
Let's just hope they're wired out of phase, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And our third and final, this is definitely a nice amplifier that has been abused its entire life.
I would say that amp has been wet.
Yes. It's not under warranty, sir.
No.
You cannot submerge it.
Yeah. For those of you that have gotten an amplifier wet and you think that you're going to clean it up and send it in for warranty, the moment they open it up, it is clear that amp has been wet. So don't waste your time. Don't waste your shipping. Don't waste your favorite amplifier's manufacturing's resources by sending in something that you got wet. Own it, buy another one, install it on stilts.
Side note, the PXA line of amplifiers is submersible. It's IP66 and 67. So,
that's easy for you to say.
Yeah, yesterday it was. So, okay, Ernie, that's it. Now, I want to talk about, I want to show our fun picks. And before I show you cool car audio picks, I want to show you something cool that Kicker has done, specifically Steve and Becky Irby. Ernie, go ahead and pull this up, please. So last weekend was the grand opening of Block 34 here in Stillwater. Block 34 is what you're looking at in this image. This is the Kicker, here's the Kicker sound stage. So that is a massive stage for live audio experiences. And this here is the Simmons Bank Pavilion, which is basically a second stage, a smaller stage. And this whole area here, all of this is set up for the community. And this was put together by Steve and Becky Irby to leave something fantastic for the city, for the community of Stillwater. And it's an incredible place. I'm going to show you a few pictures from the grand opening. Here's behind the scenes, Steve and Becky Irby. Well, let's show you the front side. That's better. Here's Steve and Becky Irby saying thank you for the community coming together to enjoy this space with them. And they actually also provided 10 years of programming funds. 10 years, what that means is every weekend where we've got decent weather, we're going to have live music that is free for the community to enjoy at Block 34 in the Kicker Sound Stage. So that is the kind of people that we work for here at Kicker. And this is just before, if you see here, they're going to launch off these confetti cannons and ba-boom! And the people they're launching them at, just before they receive the launch, here they are. These are the folks watching the welcome grand opening. As part of the festivities, we had a Dancing Turtle Art Festival, and this is the kids lining up for their bicycle parade. So they're going to show their bikes off by riding around the block, showing their love and spirit. And then the kids that weren't yet ready to ride bikes could play in the kids' play area. We've got a splash pad, we've got musical activities for the kids, climbing spaces, all sorts of fun stuff at this block. This was the slowest bike race. You had to be the slowest person to cross the finish line without touching the ground. That would suck for me. And Stone Cloud, which is Steve and Becky Irby have a son, Joel Irby, and he is the founder of Stone Cloud. They're a fantastic producer of beer. Of course, they were on hand selling beer, wonderful beer. And this is the Block 34. This is from the edge. This is just sort of the entryway. Welcome to Block 34. Here's the splash pad. My daughter was here from morning until night, all day long at the splash pad. And of course, there's the Kicker sound stage with the big band playing. And it was a fantastic experience. And if you happen to come to Stillwater, the next SQ at HQ event is going to be here at Kicker, and then we're going to have a block party in the evening. You're going to want to be here for this event. It's going to be incredible. Oh, what does Block 34 mean? So it's really quite simple. Block 34 is simply the number of the city block. So there's Block 33, Block 34, Block 35, and so on. Block 34 had been vacant for many, many, many years, owned by the city. No one was quite sure what to do with it. Steve and Becky stepped up and said, hey, we would like to create a community experience based around live music, and so that's what they've done. It's fantastic. So that's that. Next up, we've got some cool picks. Ernie found these. Oh yeah, so here's actually, Ernie did a little project. So Ernie's got a side-by-side. He's got some land, and he and Jules like to drive around in the evenings on their side-by-side. And of course, he needs some Kicker music on that side-by-side. So check this out. This is Ernie So he bought the big power bar, the big one, the full-size power bar, and realized it wasn't going to fit on the front where he wanted to put it. So rather than return it, he buys a second power bar, but the smaller one. So now he's got not one, but 2 power bars. And of course, he had to do some custom fabrication to make it all work. So here's the rear power bar, and you can see the front power bar in this image here. So that's his side-by-side, that's his shop. This is the custom bracket he had to make all this work together here. Ernie's quite handy when he needs to be.
Go back to that for a sec, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So if you take a look at this, he used existing mounting points for a right angle bracket to then employ what I presume is a light mount. So you see the thing that clamps around the tube and then gives him a tab. So basically he took a piece of pipe, took a pair of clamps, knowing that it was going to end up sort of perpendicular to where he was able to have a piece of bent metal. So he was able to use some really nice stainless hardware. He had to basically chop saw and a drill, but didn't have to modify the machine, right? So there hasn't taken away from the integrity of the roll bar, hasn't drilled into it, anything like that. This could be taken off, taken to his next side-by-side or put onto a boat or whatever. But as complicated as it looks, this is a great do-it-yourself or hire somebody to do solution. And the idea of running a piece of pipe, a piece of tube from one side to the other gives you a perfect spot to clamp on the sound bar. It's fantastic. Ernie, you should be proud.
He is. And so there's the final setup. Small power bar and big power bar. And side note, they do talk to one another. We've got broadcast mode. So the first one, the small one, becomes the primary, and it sends its signal wirelessly to the secondary. So they're playing the same music all the time. So Ernie says, ask the neighbors. They hate it. So yeah, there's another close-up of the front and the bar that he had to fabricate there. So nice work, Ernie. So this is a pickup. We're not sure exactly what pickup this is, but it's got 4 10s behind the seat. You got to love that. We prognosticated this is probably a 50s, probably GM truck, looks like. Here's another image of it. So in the kick panels, they got 2, looks like 6.5-inch coax mounted speakers. And you'll notice that there is no clutch. So we were discussing how they were going to shift this thing, but I still think it's 3 on the tree and a hidden clutch, but I'm probably wrong. And
Bluetooth clutch.
Bluetooth, that's right.
It's a SEMA clutch.
It's a SEMA clutch. So that's a pretty cool upgrade on that pickup there. So there's our fun picks. And let's see, we showed you that. Oh, events. The reason that JW and Stephen Bambrow are not here tonight is because they're in Sturgis, North Dakota at the 85th Sturgis Motorcycle Rally and Flat Track event.
Yeah.
We sponsor Flat Track, which is big, fat motorcycles going really fast in circles on dirt. Highly dangerous.
Yep.
So that's where those guys are hanging out tonight. So it's just Ernie working back there. Colin's at home enjoying his birthday, and then these 2 knuckleheads up here on stage. So we've got some winners. Hey, Colin, we got some winners who want to show off the winners. So third place, Dan, so what we do is we have first, second, and third place free every night, drawing every time we do this. And the third place winner gets a TW1, which is in-ear wireless earbuds, true wireless earbuds.
Nice.
They also get a unmasked t-shirt, which is right there. They get one of those.
I don't get one of those.
We could probably figure that out for you. And they get two koozies for the adult beverage of your choice. So who is our winner number 3? Number 3, Francisco C. from Florida. Congratulations, Francisco.
Congratulations.
You're the winner. Winner number 2 gets the TW2, which is the Step Up in earbuds. Ooh. Step Up, the t-shirt, the 2 koozies. Number 2, Rafael R. from Texas. Rafael, congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
Winner number 1 gets a BF100, a Bullfrog, our Bluetooth speaker that floats, BF100. Final winner is Sean L. from Illinois. Congratulations, Sean. You're the number 1 winner tonight. Your prizes will be in the mail. Now, I did start a new thing. We're both dads. I started a new thing where I've got a dad joke. No. Here's the dad joke. Here's the book.
Yep.
Dad joke books right here. And here's the one I selected for tonight. So,
you done messed up, AA Ron!
you see he's playing some smack back there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Should give away tickets.
Come to Knowledge Fest. You'll see me.
Dan, yeah, actually, before I do the dad joke, these folks enjoyed us tonight.
Okay.
Where can they see you next?
Yeah. So I actually have an event in Dallas. The 23rd of August, I believe, is Saturday.
Okay.
The internet will correct me. So I'm doing an event in Dallas. It is a precursor, and it's going to end before the kickoff of Knowledge Fest, which is in Fort Worth. So if you go to therealdanbowman.com, I don't usually put that out there. I don't want people to find me on the internet.
Oh, come on, man.
You can find some of the places where I'm going to be, but you'll see me at trade shows and events, basically all over.
Yes.
All over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
and
stuff.
I can come out to your store, here and there.
Absolutely. If your store needs a serious tune-up, this is the guy to do it for you. So sometimes after I do these shows, I go home and I lay in bed and I stare up at the ceiling because I can't fall asleep, right? Because I'm so hyped up from the show.
Right.
So I stare at the ceiling and I go, man, that's a nice ceiling. It's probably not the best ceiling, but it's right up there.
Nice.
Dad joke.
Now that was a great delivery because I thought I still had a joke coming.
You do not.
It's right up there.
40 hertz. So Andy, are you doing a show tonight? I didn't get that message. Andy's doing a show tonight, so stay tuned in. Andy McGill, Living Loud.
Yeah.
He's doing a show tonight, an after show. And our next show is Tuesday, August 19th. And I think I'm actually hosting that again, so I'll get to hang out with you guys and girls again.
You said this was a special event.
It is a special event. You're here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is very special.
Yeah.
So, Dan, the
Yes.
last closing remarks, any thoughts, any impressions?
I am blown away at the facility. Everybody I met here at Kicker today, and I got to see the entire operation, I think. Everyone was enthusiastic, welcoming, warm. I mean, just, you don't even make it into the building yet, and you realize you've arrived at something special. And I've had industry folks tell me this for years, right? So I thought I was prepared.
Yeah.
Pull into this slot, and I was just sitting there like, whoa. Like, this is a cool building filled with cool folks making some really neat products. And the good folks here turned up the wick on a couple of the vehicles. Now, you took a video of me in the Bronco.
Yes, I did.
Right? And I did my very best to keep a straight face, but that thing was pulling the air right out of me.
His hair is going.
Yeah, and there's a lot of product holding this hair back right now. So that I had an absolute blast.
Good,
right?
good.
Everyone here was fantastic. No one was running around like their hair was on fire. We had some great meals.
We did.
You guys have good coffee.
Yeah.
And getting to see the archives,
Yes.
that was amazing. You saw I was snapping pictures. Gonna be
Yes,
sending
yes.
friends and old clients
Yes.
all sorts of photos, some really, really cool historical products. And
Yes.
one thing that we never even touched on, the very first aftermarket subwoofer I ever owned was Kicker Solar Barracks.
Yes.
Right? We were talking about
Yes.
the ones that was a 12 and 0.88 cubic feet. That was earth-shattering at
Yes,
the time.
yes,
right?
it was.
So that was my very first. I was hoping to see the pullover windbreaker with like the zip pouch, right? Because I got one of those too. So I had that before I had the subs.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a special treat. If this 17-year-old me heard me talking about this, it'd be like, there's no
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I got to sit in Big Boss's office.
You did.
We had a great conversation. He walked us over to the museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I was shocked. He had a lot of time for us today, and I was really pleased at that. That's wonderful.
Speaks volumes as to how captivating I am.
It does, it does. All right, well, thank you, friends, for tuning in tonight. And again, if you really enjoyed this different kind of Unmasked, let us know in the chat, and we'll plan more of these events, and we'll definitely have Dan back.
Yeah, let them know you want to have me back. You can email them, you can call, you can write letters.
Snail mail.
Snail mail.
Yeah, it works.
It does work.
All right, friends, thanks for being here tonight. Good night.
Raring engines shake the ground, kicker sound spinning round, metal hearts pounding the beat, feel the rush at your feet. Tear the night with electric scream, amped up dreams fuel the stream, thunder blast through endless skies, driving forward never dies. Kicker unmasked, live it live. word.